All right, we got to see some Justin Fields action here. Yes, Justin Fields in a Steelers uniform, which is very exciting, and I think it went okay. I think it wasn't a perfect performance by any means. There was some good to be had with Fields here. Fields usually does pretty well in the preseason, but yeah, let's just get into it. Real quick before we do, though, I do have a movie channel, if that seems like your kind of thing. Jackson Kruger Movies. The link is in the description for that. I have some fun things like a Kubrick tier list, some movie reviews, some other stuff, so check that out if it seems like your kind of thing. But yeah, anyway, Justin Fields here. Let's start off with the play you see on the screen. It's going to be a man coverage concept that the Houston Texans are in, and you see the way that the routes the receivers are going to be running towards Fields' left right here. It's a concept that can work on a 3rd and 4, get somebody open quickly, but one thing I was definitely curious about when seeing Fields is, with all due respect to the Steelers receivers, I love George Pickens, but other than that, I like Freiermuth as well, but he is a tight end. Like, who else is going to get open consistently? That there is some depth issues there. And you see here, as, not all the starters are playing, although some starters were playing, but you see right here, Fields is looking and doesn't love what he sees, and there's, again, for a good reason, right? Can't really make a throw right here. A lot of the question, and part of why some people were saying maybe Fields should be the starter, is if you get in these situations, can Fields get you out of these situations? Can he use his legs to, let the play still be alive? He, at this point in his career, is a better runner than Wilson. However, on this one, when he tries to scramble out, there happens to be pressure right there, and he ends up scrambling himself into a sack instead, which, again, it was 3rd and 4. I don't think that was the wrong play for Fields to try and make, but still, it didn't work out here. Also, I got to talk about these plays where on multiple occasions there was a fumbled snap. I'm not sure if that was Fields' fault or the center's fault. I don't know, but that's something that, again, if you're trying to win the starting job, I'm sure that that's not going to go particularly well. It was Nate Herbig, the backup center, who they were missing the exchange there. But hey, Herbig could end up playing, right? We assume Zach Frazier will be the starter, but what if he has an injury and, Herbig is now the backup, right? Or now the starter, and you have to take the snap from him. You got to clean these things up. Again, I have no idea whose fault this is, but they did lose one of the fumbles. So, yeah, not ideal there. Although heading over to a play like this, the way this is going to work is I'm not going to set up too much at the beginning of the play because that's not really the point. You see that one, Fields takes a snap, he runs a play action, but there is pressure in his face right away. We did see this a couple times from Fields where, I didn't think he wasn't able to do his scrambling stuff that we can sometimes see from him. That's really usually the eye-popping stuff. That is his best attribute, I would say, is he can be an elite scrambler at times. But while we didn't see a lot of that, we did see some of this stuff where there's pressure in his face, yet he's able to still make it work. He flips the ball out and then, actually pick up a decent amount of yards in open space there, so that's good. But really, for Fields, this is still important. He did this a couple of times, and being able to turn what could have been a loss into a positive play is still a positive attribute. So you definitely saw that. I'm sure the Steelers coaching staff will be happy to see things like that. Also, I'm sure they'll be happy to see something like this, which really was Fields' highlight of the game, in my opinion, where the way this is going to work, it's a zone coverage concept right here. You see the concept on the screen. It's zone coverage, so the receiver running a deep route will hopefully push the safety and the corner in that area further deep. And then that area is what can get open. That's what you're hoping to see happen if you're a Steelers fan who deeply cares about your team being successful in the preseason. So, when this play begins, you're going to see that Fields does run to play action. He is going to fire the ball down the field, and there is a window right here. And to Fields' credit, he's timing this one as accurately as he could be right here, right? Really well done. The second he gets up to play action, sees this open, isn't wasting time, getting the ball over there. He hits the receiver in stride. They're able to pick up a big gain. That's just good stuff. And again, to Fields' credit, there's always been the critiques of, he's just a running back, he can't throw, that kind of stuff. And listen, I'm not saying there isn't valid criticisms towards his passing ability. Of course there is, but I do feel like for the most part, when there are plays like this, when you get guys consistently open, he hits them in stride consistently. It's not like he can't be a game manager. It's just that usually he needs guys to be a little bit more open than your average quarterback does, which is why he's now on another team, and also the fact that the team that got rid of him had a chance to draft a generational player. But yeah, that was really good. it wasn't all perfect in the passing game. We did see something like this, where the way this is going to work is it's a man coverage concept that the Texans are in, and you see the route on the screen going to be going towards the sideline. Again, on paper, this is a route that absolutely can work. Fields is going to take the snap. He looks over in that direction, and at this point, the ball is getting out of his hand. He is in a throwing motion. I almost wonder if he should have made his throw a little bit earlier, perhaps, because it is a touch late, I would say, just getting rid of the ball. Of course, I am saying this in hindsight. There is a risk of, if you throw it before you see a receiver cut, if he's not on the same page, that's how interceptions happen. But still, I think that's what I would have preferred to see him do here. But also, this throw just doesn't have as much zip on it as I think you would ideally like, and isn't as far towards the sideline as I think you would ideally like. So, again, it wasn't horrible in any direction, right? Just a little bit closer towards the middle of the field than you'd like, a little bit slower than you'd like, and a little bit later than you'd like. I think if any of those things go the other way, I think that this is probably a completion, and you get the first down right here. So, yeah, we still saw some of this stuff as well. So, yeah, really, as a whole, I don't think this was a bad day by Fields. I don't think he's going home, kicking himself, oh my God, I was a disaster out there, or anything like that. But I don't think it was a great day by the offense, certainly as a whole. I think they really struggled, and Fields was a part of it. He did have his own struggles throughout. And while I do think I have to give him credit and say he did make some good plays as well, I think that when you're talking about who's going to win the job, because I think at this point, he kind of has to win the job or Wilson has to lose it. I think that if Fields and Wilson both play the same, I think it's going to be Wilson's job. So for Fields, coming into this, kind of needing to show something, he just didn't really show anything. Even the good throws, there's no reason to think Russell Wilson couldn't also do that. So I think that you really needed a play or two from him to feel better about, if you have stock in him starting week one. I just don't think that he did enough to earn that at this point. Now, I think the good news for Fields is that I don't think he did something to lose it either. Like I said, there were some mistakes, but all the mistakes you can kind of throw at someone else if you want to. There was no play where it's just that was a bad Fields play. If you're a Fields fan, you can excuse every single one of the negatives I had with him, although I don't know if that would be fully fair. So I think that's the good news, is if Wilson next week plays horrible, or if Fields plays well, then you start to feel a little better about yourself. But as of right now, I think that it was an underwhelming first week for Fields. Not a disaster, but underwhelming. But there's still plenty of time left, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, those are my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from y'all. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.